What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers are going to have to figure out what are they going to do with that 3 spot. Right now, it's Luka, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and DeAndre. I think right now, that's probably the starting 5. I would prefer you start Jared Vanderbilt because I just think between, Luka, Reeves, LeBron, and Ayton, you have more than enough offense. Right? That doesn't mean you have to play him 40 minutes a night. Right, because I know people have concerns about him getting played off the court. It's also very different when you have Luka as your offensive generator and everything that he can do and create, the shooting, right? On top of that, Austin Reeves, if he can kind of become a better three-point shooter, I think the Lakers would be fine with Jared Vanderbilt. I don't think he'd be as much of a liability as it is when you have like Jackson Hayes and Jared Vanderbilt, basically 2 guys clash. Ayton can at least step out, knock down the 15, 20-footer. Think you'd be fine with Jared Vanderbilt, but you need that point of attack defense. To me, I'd look at Jared Vanderbilt as like you start him 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, whatever, kind of get spot minutes throughout the third and the fourth or second and third quarter, right? And then, he starts the third quarter and then closes the fourth and he's getting 20 minutes, right? He's playing like 5 minutes a quarter. And he's kind of just that assignment guy that it's his job to slow down the other guys while your offense is best in the league picking apart teams, right? That's kind of the idea. But again, I think that they would start Rui Hachimura. However, I do think Rui Hachimura at some point, whether it's this offseason or the trade deadline, is probably getting traded. He's your best kind of tradable asset as far as salary-wise goes. Also player-wise, there's teams that'll value him, right? Teams are trying to play hardball with the Lakers because they know, but you need to be able to replace him, right? That's the idea of like, okay, if we trade Rui Hachimura, you need to bring in an Andrew Wiggins or something like that. I know that there's talks about, I'm just using him as an example, but something like that, right? Like, or, a Herb Jones. I know he signed an extension. Again, just names that are coming to mind. Somebody that can slot in at the 3 and fill in that role in that gap. If you can get somebody like that, then yes, it makes sense to trade Rui Hachimura. The other option could potentially be Jake Laravia, right? Jake Laravia talked about this, right? He could potentially be the Dorian Finney-Smith, maybe even a Rui Hachimura replacement if he delivers on what he is said to be able to deliver. Now, as a guy that is familiar with Jake Laravia and watched what he did, particularly with Sacramento, right? Guy that was averaging 18 a game going into that. Guy that talked about Jake Laravia this offseason when I was like, hey, the whole him and Austin Reeves hanging out and stuff. And I was like, hey, what about Jake Laravia, right? Seeing what he's capable of on the offensive side, right? Jake Laravia is better right now than Rui Hachimura was when we got him. I'm not saying right now, right, between those two. I'm saying we got Jake Laravia right now at 23 years old. When we originally got Rui, I think he was 23 years old also, right? Jake Laravia is better on both sides of the basketball. Jake Laravia is a better defender than Rui Hachimura right now, but Rui Hachimura, the 3-point shooting and all that stuff. But Jake Laravia has the potential to be better than Rui even right now. Again, I'm not saying he will be. I don't know. We need to see him play. But the big things that Jake Laravia said was, like when they asked him, what is the thing that you think you've improved most on this offseason? And he said, my defense. He said, I really improved on my defense. He was already a B-plus rated defender, right? Again, look up the metrics, look up the stat, B-plus rated defender, right? If he can be even better than that, then yes, you start him. Because he can give you the offense and shooting and capabilities that Rui Hachimura gives you. Maybe not as high, because Rui's shooting like 42% from 3-point range. But let's say Jake Laravia shoots 37%. But he's like an A-rated defender, where Rui's like a C- rated defender, right? But Rui's giving you, 41%. I'd rather have the defender who shoots slightly worse than the guy that shoots well and is just getting smoked defensively. Right? Especially because the Lakers need the defense. You're going to have more of an impact overall, more of a net positive than a net negative with a guy like a Jake Laravia. Jake Laravia has that potential. Again, I don't know. I believe he will. And I said this from the moment we got him. I said it before the actual deal went down, when, Lakers Nation did the interview and everything. I was like, look, Jake Laravia is going to surprise a lot of people. Like, he's young, he's talented, he's good, very good. He can defend. No, people sleep on his athleticism. He's not like a hyper athlete, so people are like, oh, he's not athletic. He's athletic. The guy can move. He has the good shuttle, good lane agility, good, footwork. Like, he can shuffle his feet and stay in front of guys, right? So if he can show that and continue to show that and that progress, he's going to be the guy that's going to be hard to go, ooh, maybe we should start him. Right? Like, it's going to make things very difficult, but it also allows now you the digestibility of trading a Rui Hachimura, right? Because it's like, okay, we got a guy in Jake Laravia that can come in, step in, and play that role for you, that 3 and D wing, 6'8" size, slot in either forward position, right? So you can go with him, and then now you don't need to go get that starter level guy. You can go get, fill other needs. Maybe you're turning Rui into multiple bench players, right? Maybe you're taking his $18 million and getting 2 guys out of it, right? And end up waiving Shake Milton and Jordan Goodwin. I don't really want to get rid of Jordan Goodwin, but it depends on what you get, right? Like if you get some quality players, right, where it's like, okay, these guys just make more sense, right? Like if you could, turn Rui into, a Jalen Smith and an Io DeSumo, right? Sorry, Gabe Vincent, right? Or not Gabe Vincent, Jordan Goodwin. Sorry, Jordan Goodwin, right? I'd rather have Io DeSumo, right? And so to me, it's just like, depending on what Jake Laravia does and what he shows, may end up impacting kind of Rui's future with the Lakers because he is younger, he is better defensively, and then it's just, can he provide the consistent offense, which he has shown. He's already shown that he can provide that offense. He's shown that he can be a guy that can score the basketball and put the basketball in a hoop, right? And now he's going to be playing alongside Luka Doncic, LeBron James, right? So on and so forth. So if he can kind of, maintain that level of consistency. I'm not saying he's going to average 18 a game like he was in Sacramento, just because, again, his role is going to be very different than at that time in Sacramento. Also, you're going to have Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves who have the ball in his hands a lot. Not saying that Jake Laravia won't have opportunities to create here and there, but for the most part, he's going to be just catch and shoot, knock down the 3 ball, defend at a high level. But he's a guy that has more abilities than just that. And if he can kind of start to show and shine those abilities, again, that could kind of make certain decisions easier. Right now, again, you can look to trade a Rui Hachimura, and you might have solved your starting small forward potentially for the future, right? Because again, he's 23 years old. He's young enough to where if he really does become that proto 3-and-D type guy where he's, good defensively, right, to maybe even great, but let's just say good defensively, but excellent offensively, and he's kind of that guy that's just giving you 20 random nights, but for the most part, giving you at least double-digit scoring, but he's able to defend at a high enough level to where it's an impact, you got to go with Jake Laravia. So, again, I said it from the beginning. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Jake Laravia and his impact. And I get it. Not a lot of people aren't familiar with Jake Laravia, right? There's a lot of Laker fans that just, they only pay attention to the Laker guys. And that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like most people are that way. Like I don't need somebody like me who's, a basketball junkie, but also a content creator. It's my job to kind of maintain and know who's who in the league and, just dig outside of just the Lakers because, especially when you're talking trades and all this other stuff. So I get it. But I'm telling you, Jake Laravia, that guy's going to surprise a lot of people, in my opinion. I think he's going to be really good. There might be a little bit of adjustments here and there because it's a new team, new structure. He's going to have to get used to playing off ball more than he's used to, right? There could be a little bit of a learning curve, but I think 20 games in, people are going to be like, dude, Jake Laravia, tell you. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.